Welcome to the Spirit of a Badass, where we celebrate stories of courage, hope, and resiliency. I am your host, Alecia Jacobson.
Hello, how are we? Welcome to today's episode. Happy you are here. Happy I am here. I am officially over the beginning of summer. It's been several weeks now. So I am well into the chaos. And I have to say, while it is chaos, I feel like I have finally unlocked the next level of parenting slash my own, figured out my own rhythm of things where I have less fucks to give. And I'm not caring as much about the things that I maybe don't need to care about. And let me tell you, things are going much more smoothly. It's delightful. I have everybody in all different directions. All the things are still happening. Next week we have camps that start. So that one's going to be a little bit interesting because, I have work and camp happens at the same time. So I haven't quite figured out which teen I'm going to bribe in order to get them to kind of help me with this. That is a really nice level I've unlocked, is I have younger kids who can stay alone now and older kids who can drive. So it's just a matter of finding the right combination, but I'm not even afraid to say this out loud. I feel like I have arrived at this really great place, and I'm so happy because if you have been with me long enough, you know that as I'm on the cusp of summer, there's usually this dread that I have, mostly because I have now adult children and teen children and then young children. And I feel like how do you parent all of them all at the same time, all at once, being in doing all the things? That has always been very challenging. And I feel like I've hit the sweet spot this year. I still had the dread of oh shit, but it's okay. I'm 3 weeks in and I feel good. So we'll see as it goes on. But I've talked about being here now, be where you are. And I am absolutely being where I'm at. So let's jump into today's episode. So if you follow me on social media or I'm guessing you don't just hang out on my website, but I have a program that I run in the summertime and then I have run it in the wintertime, and it's called Jumpstart. And the whole purpose it's like CPR for some of the shit that you have restarted and has essentially is a dying goal that you still want to have. And I do it because in the program, we just focus on one goal. That is it. I've always had it one-on-one, and this year I'm adding a group option. So one-on-one, it's condensed. We meet for 4 sessions, 45 minutes, and you only get to have one goal that we hyper focus on. And then the group is the same thing, except for the group, we have a group chat. So we meet July 7th, it begins, and we meet once a week over Zoom, and then we have a group chat where your only one goal gets to come into this group chat. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because what I see in my coaching and then just out in life, and I have had this personally too, is that look at your fucking to-do list. I mean, I had a client yesterday and the to-do list was the thing. That was what we spent the time, because there was 30 things on it. And it's overwhelming. It's you can see the big picture, and then it's so overwhelming you don't do anything because you don't know where to start. And that's often what it's like with goals too. And by goals, I mean, anything. What are my goals right now? I'm training for a high rocks. I am trying to get my house remotely organized. And by that, I'm trying to get my children on board with doing their part in the house. I was underwater for so long that I missed teaching my 2 younger children to do the shit for themselves, pick up after yourself. My oldest is now doing her own laundry, but in effort to keep my house clean and organized, I need them on board with picking up after them, because I'm sure I talked about this. Spring break broke me. I had them all home and I was basically just their bitch. Like, I got their snacks. I picked after their stuff. I did their laundry. I drove them everywhere. And I was like, I will not spend a summer doing this. And I had this moment of like, I missed this part of parenting because I was so overwhelmed with everything. I didn't teach them to do for themselves and to take care of their own space. I did it really well with my older kids, but I completely dropped the ball with my younger kids. And it doesn't like my husband is I like to like that is part of his love language is, oh, I'll get it for you. Oh, don't worry, I got it. And I am a no, let's not. So we have had to do some work around that too. Anyway, that is one of the things that I am currently working on. So if you take a look at your sort of to-do list and your goals, if there's too many things that you are working on all at the same time, you don't know which way to go and you don't know what to do first. It can be paralyzing and it can keep you feeling stuck. It keeps you from moving forward. If you have a physical goal where you want to get stronger because you want to be able, in your 40s now or approaching, that age where it's like, oh shit, if I don't do this now, me in 10 years is going to be paying the price for it now. Or maybe it's, your nutrition where your main meals are coming through a drive-through or a microwave and you're like, I really want to meal prep. I want to plan. I want to know what I am feeding my body and I want to be the one doing that. But if you look at your to-do list and you have all of these other things that it's like taking your attention away, it is hard. It is hard to do those things. And oftentimes it's like, I'll start Monday, or it's one of those things where you're like, I always do this. That's a phrase. That's a phrase that I hear in this sort of just icky way, talking about yourself. Like I always do this. This is just what I do. And it doesn't have to be that way. But how are you setting yourself up? What are we doing the same things over and over again? Who do you have on board supporting you? And if you're not taking intentional, dedicated space to do one thing well, because let's be real, we are not given permission and taught that it is okay to just focus on one thing. We are told and shown and modeled, and I'm guilty of this, 10, 15 fucking years ago, thinking like, look at me, I am doing all of the things. And inside, I was just quietly falling apart because we are not supposed to do all of the things. We can do some things really well, but everything, it's crushing. We know this now. We know that we have arrived at the 40-year mark and we're looking around going, what the fuck? I'm done. I can't do this. And then it's like, okay, what do we want to do? And maybe we have spent so much time doing everything for everyone else that we have not given ourselves time, permission, space to actually do that one thing that keeps getting like put to the top of the list, and maybe you nail it for 3 days and then it just whoosh, slides to the bottom because crisis happens, and that's what happens. So it's how do we take dedicated space, which is again why I developed this Jumpstart program. It is CPR for whatever the fuck it is you have. And we take dedicated space and plan it around the crisis that happens on day 4, because we know it's going to happen. We know that as soon as you get some momentum, life is going to happen, because that is what life does. We have to design what it is that your goals are, what it is that you find important, whether it's a hobby, it could even be learning to go, taking walks. Maybe you want to take an evening stroll or get up in the morning and take a walk or walk on your fucking lunch break. And it keeps getting moved because other people take your time, or you're too tired because you're staying up doing people's laundry and folding laundry, or maybe you're staying up because it's the only fucking 20 minutes you get to yourself all day long. But then what happens? You don't get to get up in the morning because you're too tired, right? So even if you just look at one goal, there's lots of components to it. And then if you factor in life where you're trying to do everything all at once at the same time, it's no fucking wonder. It's no wonder. So that is why I have designed this very, I'm going to say it's intense, but only intense in the fact that we do it in a short amount of time and just focus on one thing. Because usually when I work with people, there is a more long-term goal, and we work, over the course of 6 months to a year, or, several years, at life in general, where this is very just hyper focused. You want to just staying alive, like pump, right? Revitalize whatever that is and get a nice pattern down, and have the either support of me or have the support of a group while you are doing that. And that is why I have designed this. And that is why a lot of times goals and the things that we, want to devote time to fail, because there's just too many things that you are trying to do at 100%. And with that type of mindset of thinking everything has to look a certain way, it doesn't work out well. And it's not that you need, more discipline, or the horrible word that I don't like, motivation. Ugh, I hate that, because it's like, motivation is what? It's not, it feels like it's those things that it's not a tangible thing that we can count on. So if we can't count on it, it's sort of like the irresponsible baby daddy. It's like, you can't count on it. So why are we going to put all our eggs in that basket of waiting for motivation, or feeling like, well, I'm not motivated, so I can't do this? Well, no, you still have to take care of your fucking children, even if the baby daddy isn't going to show up, right? So you still have to do the thing, even when you don't have the motivation. So how do you do that? And how you do that is by just doing that one thing and just focusing on that one thing. And with that, we get clarity. We simplify. When in my GLP-1 group, we talked about really simplifying each thing, like break it down. The internet is delightful. However, it is overcomplicated the fuck out of everything. And we don't need to be that complicated. You can take most tasks and really simplify them. What is necessary? There's one of the ladies that I work with her meals, they were very overcomplicated. And she realized she does not have the time for overcomplicating a meal, which she loved cooking. So that was a little bit of a tricky one. And it took some time for her to recycle a recipe or eat, have the leftovers. But she had this big goal, which was great, of, a variety of meals. However, her current life right now did not support that. And then it just makes you end up feeling like shit, because you're not hitting the mark that you think you need to mark. So we simplified that, and now she's fucking crushing it, And it was a very easy thing to do, but it's something, if we don't take that dedicated time, you don't think about it. And it's like, sometimes the amount of times I hear, oh, I just know, saying that out loud, taking time, like, now that I say that, now that I've written that, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, that does make sense. I never thought about it that way. Those phrases, the amount of times I hear those within a session, and it's because, look at your fucking calendar. We are so overscheduled, and our brains, I have my daughter, I don't know how I don't know what this is like. And if any of you are like this, I would love to hear from what this is like from an adult. And maybe it's because she is a teenager that she doesn't have this, but she does not have the inner dialogue. I'll just sit there and ramble things that come in my head when we're in the car. And she's like, what is going on inside your head? I'm like, oh, you don't want to know. But she doesn't have that. And I don't know. And she's the only one I know that does not have that inner dialogue of like, I need to do this, or this makes me think of this. And it's like a constant running to-do list in my head. And it's no wonder that the simplest things we don't even consider, because when would we have the time? The time is not taken. Somebody else I was working with, we were talking about scheduling and what would it look like to block off the schedule for dedicated kind of thinking time and blank space time. Oh, I have that. I was like, well, what's not working then? Oh, something gets put over it. So every week there's dedicated time, and every week something gets put over it. And it's like, no, 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 no. We need to have that. And then it needs to be protected. And that's what happens inside this group, is that you have the time. It's just like when you have a coffee date with a friend, or you go to a gym and you have a personal trainer, or, when I book my classes, the whole reason you pre-book your classes is so that you show up, you take that dedicated time. And I am one, like, this is 100% me. If I don't book a class and it is not scheduled, the likelihood of me following through with it and actually going, like, let's say, like, well, for instance, today, I wasn't able to go and exercise in the morning, and I was going to go this afternoon. And I'm still, it's not booked yet because I wasn't sure if it was going to work out. I'm still questioning, am I going to go? Because I didn't schedule it. Now, yesterday, if I would have scheduled it and signed up for it, I would 100% be going. So if you look at the things that you say are important to you, are you following through with them? And what does it take to have you follow through with it? And if you're not, and here's the thing too, if you consistently don't do whatever the thing is it important to you? Is it? Because if it actually is, then how do you make it happen? How do you find a way? Is it a right now issue? Is it in my time in my life right now it's tricky? Because if that's the case, maybe it's the pause button and you revisit it another time instead of just making yourself feel shitty and guilty for attempting it every week or month or fucking Monday or whatever it is. And just be like, you know what, this time in my life, it is not the time for it. Or is it that, oh, now listening to this, it's making me think, yeah, I'm not taking the time for it. I am not giving myself permission and honoring my needs and honoring what I want and carving out this dedicated time, making it happen in order to bring whatever it is into my life. A couple of other ways that this has shown up is the all or nothing thinking. That's another one that I talk about a lot. It's sort of like these pictures have been painted for us of the way it should look. I saw this so often in the gym, people's expectations of how often they had to work out, how long they had to work out, the intensity of the workouts. And if they couldn't meet that expectation, and even go at the timing of the workouts, meaning like a certain time of day is the best time of day. Fucking no. The best is whatever you can figure out how to do and make happen consistently. That is the best. It's not whatever would be good for someone else or what your mother did or your sibling or your best friend. It's when you look at your life and your schedule and the things that you find important, and how can you make it work for you and not doing it in sort of reflection of someone else's life or situation, or even, what they find important. Like, just because somebody else finds it important does not mean that you need to find it important. So those are some ways that it can come up. And one of the really great things that you get from focusing on just one thing and doing one thing really well is that it spills over into the rest of your life naturally, right? So you may have other goals, and most of the time, this is what are these related to? This is related to your physical health. This is related to nutrition, meaning these are the things that I typically work with people on and talk to people about. Your home environment. That is a big one that people often don't realize causes them so much stress. When your home is cluttered and you feel disorganized, it's a constant to-do list running through your head. When I go to foam roll now, all I think about is, oh, I have to vacuum. Why? Because I'm seeing fucking dog hair everywhere. And I'm like, oh, I have to vacuum. And that's just one thing that I see. So if you have, your office or this just constant nagging, it's like background noise that doesn't go away. So when you take, a couple years ago, I did that habit tracker where I took the summer, a full summer, which is essentially what we're doing, but we're doing July. And I focused on my storage room in the basement. And it was 10 minutes every day. That's what I said. And I could hit my little habit tracker and I did it. And the whole thing got cleaned out. And I just did a little tiny bit every single day. But when I looked at the big picture, it was so overwhelming. It was like, I don't even know where to start with this. But I just had to give a few minutes of dedicated time and it was done. Now, it is messy again. 2 years later, it is back on my to-do list. It is not as messy. It's just very full because we've had teenagers move and come back and, their storage and all the things. So it just needs a little refresh. But those are some of the things that you are working on. And when you naturally start to do that, things fall into place. This I can share. So my daughter, my youngest, has an egg allergy, and we were out for ice cream, which we didn't realize was custard at the time. And she took one sip of her milkshake, and she said, "Is there egg in this?" And I was like, "Crap." She was 5 at the time. And she said, "My throat feels itchy." So I go over and I ask the people, and they lift up the big barrel of ice cream and it says custard in big bold letters. Panic, right? End up in the ER. And my best friend at the time was the nurse in the ER. And so my daughter turned, it was fine. We didn't even need to give her an epi because she panicked as soon as she saw the needle. So some Benadryl and some whatever else they gave her. Totally fine. However, what happened in there is my husband was messing around with the equipment, and my friend gave him the blood pressure test thing, and it was so fucking high. And he decided in that moment, like, that was his defining moment of like, shit, I need to do some things. And so he focused on fitness. And from focusing just on that one thing, like that was his one and only focus. He, from that, since he has quit drinking, he has started walking. We walk almost every morning now, and he works out. Not only because we had gotten a personal trainer that he worked with, and he's no longer, but he does it on his own now. And now he is in good health. But that one thing that he focused on spread out to everything else, which, if you think about all of those habits out in life, when you are exercising, you sleep better, you have less anxiety, your stress goes down. All of these other things naturally start to increase or decrease in the way that you would like them to. So sorry, my dog was just galloping down the stairs. I thought, he's a big one, so I thought he was going to take me out for a second. But that is why I do this program, and I offer it once a year, is to give you that jump start that you need. And if you want, you can continue working with me afterwards, or continue obviously working on it. But it is a very intense focus time that you just pick one thing, give it the dedicated time that it needs to be successful. If you are a person that, has specific time that you need, that's a good option for that one-on-one where you and I pick a time. If you like the group I have people that it's like, okay, I'm going to commit to this and I'm going to share this here. And you like that, group, yes, you did it, high five kind of mentality. I am one of those. Well, I like both for different things, but I definitely like for my fitness and for my, I'm going to be accountable to this. I like to tell the people. Sometimes I even post things on social media like, hey, I'm doing this because I need that social accountability to what I'm doing. So if that is you, I'm going to put the link in the show notes to sign up for either program. There's 2 different options, and then it'll give you the instructions after you sign up of what to do next. So I hope to see you there. If you do have any questions, you can shoot me a message on social media or send me an email, or on my website. You can reach out to me if you have any questions on anything else. But I hope that this was really helpful. Whether you join the group or not, I do hope you join the group or the one-on-one. However, if not, this is your permission to focus on one thing and let the other things sort of melt away for right now so that you can be successful with one thing and not make yourself feel shitty for not being able to do everything all at once at the same time, because we are not meant to do that. We are not meant to do that and live that way. All right. Have a fabulous day. And if you think that anybody that you know would be, if this would be a good program for them, please send it. Or if you think this podcast would be good for them, please send it. I'm trying to spread the word on the podcast and get some new listeners so that they can soak in all the goodness that you get to hear. All right. Have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you next time.
Spirit of a Badass is a Lit Path Studios podcast and is produced by Jamie Gale and Alecia Jacobson. Music by Shane Ivers. We'll be back with another inspiring interview. Until then, keep your spirits high and your energy badass.